Welcome to the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine weekly newscast.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages. My name's Dave Sadler from the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine. Here again with your weekly news. Again, well, I say every week, but it's been another strong week for newsworthy articles that have come to us at the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine. So if we jump straight into it, this is a ring believed to have links to royalty has been discovered in Moray after nearly 600 years. It was found buried in the ground in Moray in Scotland by a gentleman called Archmdmag from Elgin, who made the discovery while scanning the site with his metal detector near the town. A beautiful piece. It's an old looking ring, believed it could be linked to King James IV. It looks like, and the only way I could suggest what it looks like a pair of ladies' boobs on the front of the ring, with a stone within each boob, let's call it, each lobe. A similar ring, I think, was found in North Yorkshire not long ago, which sold for £10,000. The research that's been done by the 60-year-old has suggested that it may have belonged to King James IV or his wife Margaret Tudor, who was grandmother to Mary, Queen of Scots. I'm sex changing everything there. Mind you, it's modern day and age, so could be anything. He claims that he'd been researching the site for a while, because it's a probable location for a former medieval chapel. He'd had a few signals already and found a medieval iron key and a couple of tokens from the same era. He moved on and got a big signal, so he knew it was something interesting there. He put the spade in the ground, pulled it up, and there it was, sticking out of the side of the earth and still shining. I knew right away what it was. He added, "The gold is so yellow and so pure. Rings like these would only have been given to royalty or high-ranking members of the church." So it's to be seen, over research what is done in the future, who and what this ring actually belonged to. Archaeologists in Pompeii have found the remains of horses in an ancient stable. The military officer's stable preserved under ash from eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Again, this is one of them articles that I can't quite begin to describe the images that you see, so I would suggest to pop along onto Google and Google this article yourself. Basically what we've got in the trenches is the experts working on the remains of the horses in the ancient stables during investigations. Again, the same whitish look that most of the petrified remains that have been found in the past have. They unearthed the petrified remains of the harnessed horse and saddle in the stable of an ancient villa in a Pompeii suburb. The Pompeii Archaeological Park's head, Massimo Asana, told the Italian news agency ANSA that the villa belonged to a high-ranking military officer, perhaps a general in ancient Roman times. Asana was quoted on Sunday as saying that the remains of 2 or 3 other horses were also discovered. The villa's terraces had views of the Bay of Naples and the island of Capri. The area was excavated during the early 1900s but later reburied. The volcanic eruption of Mount Vesuvius destroyed the flourishing city of Pompeii near present-day Naples in AD 79. Asana says suffocating volcanic ash or boiling vapours killed the horse. He hopes that the villa will eventually reopen for public visits. And our third and final story this week comes off the back of a very busy week on the All Metal Mode and All Metal Mode UK podcasts. Now, if you weren't able to listen, and I would ask you to go onto Spreaker and look for either the All Metal Mode podcast or the All Metal Mode UK podcast, you'll find an interview in the American version and an interview in the English version with Oak Island author, and he's a very well-known author in himself, to be fair, and former editor of Rolling Stone magazine in America, Randall Sullivan. This week both shows had some eye-opening discussions with Randall, who is a part of the team at Oak Island and is recently had published the official book of the story, i.e. the story on the History Channel in both the US and the UK. And the story that we're coming across this week is something that we didn't go into great depth with because obviously we only had a certain amount of time on the show. But from several areas of the internet this week comes the tale of the lead cross that was found in Season 5, if I'm not mistaken. The lead cross found on the Curse of Oak Island could possibly end up being one of the most historic finds ever in North America, the latest episode reveals. Now, this cross is a lead cross, and it seems to have, at the top, instead of it being a perfect rectangular shape above the cross section, it's more of a oval shape with a squarish hole inside, which potentially could have been used. It could have had some form of jewel in there, or it could have been used for some leather or something to go through it to tie around the neck. Now, the bombshell revelation comes from emerging hard evidence convinces the team, led by Rick and Marty Lagina, of the cross's historic value. The lead cross was found on Oak Island's famous Smith Cove by metal-detecting expert Gary Drayton during filming in 2017 for Season 5 of the show. At the time, it was disclaimed the discovery could change the history of the world, which was a little bit big for my liking, but then again, it could be evidence more so for the island itself. The cross features a square hole at the top and bears an eerie resemblance to a carving seen by Rick Regina in the wall of a Templar prison at Dom, France, during a research trip for the show. Original estimates were the cross was made between 1200 and 1600 AD. In an exclusive interview this year, the Curse of Island executive producer Kevin Burns reveals that the cross had undergone rigorous testing since it was found. Some of the results from the test are revealed on the latest episode of this show. And I must also point out at this point that this season of The Curse for Oak Island isn't currently being played in the UK. This is the American version, so it may act as a bit of a spoiler. Burns said at the time of an interview that the testing on the cross was still ongoing. He added, "We can't seem to find any evidence of a cross of that shape or construction that is any more recent than the 1300s or earlier." In other words, some have dated it as old as 900 AD, some have said 1300 AD, and it is in that neighbourhood. It could very well have been left by a Templar and might be some kind of evidence that they did come across North America years before Columbus. If they did, what did they bring and why? So again, the whole search for Oak Island mythology continues, and yes, this artefact is or could be of consequence, depending on the final research and archaeological testing from the official archaeologist, as opposed to just the normal people on the streets. And I'm sure after talking to Randall this week that the Laginas will put this through the best of scientific testing. One of the things that was mentioned was that a lot of people, myself included, may have suggested in the past that some of the items that were found at Oak Island were in fact potentially put there by people related to the show to be found to make the show a little bit better. But after speaking to Randall, he assures us that the Laginas both have said in the past if we find out anything of that had taken place in any way, shape or form, then the programme would discontinue straight away. It's part of their contract that nothing like this occurs, because obviously they need to gain evidence, and they need everything to be related to the site to be taken seriously. So anyway, that's our 3 items of news this week. I would like to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas, or whatever other denomination or religion you are. I would like to wish you the very best for this period of time over the next few weeks. That's from both myself and Luke from the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine. And also, we'd like to assist our roving reporters and assistants at the magazine, Tim Levine, Kev Marchese, Graham Stokes, Laura Higgins. Obviously, she does a hell of a lot of work behind the scenes. And we'd also like to thank those in the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine network, as it's been come to know. The people who do work with us, similar genre-related groups and organisations who we work with on a regular basis, sharing work and content and being involved in the work through media, written work and support. That goes totally to Mike Hare from the All Metal Mode, Lance Goolsby from Global Detection Adventures podcast, Digger Dawn, Andrew Jones at Metal Detecting Britain and Beyond, Team Yorkshire, Siren Kimmy from Girls Rock Metal Detecting, Gareth Bryant, John Webb, John 316 Metal Detecting, and I'm sure there are many, many more, but I haven't got the information in front of me, so I'll probably forget to read them out. So I'll end it there and thank each and every one of you for assisting us, backing us, supporting us, and doing everything that you've done over the past year. We do have a competition which ends on Christmas Eve at 9 PM. That was for our relaunch video on YouTube and Facebook. And if you go along to the website, and it's www.archmdmag.com, and you go to /relaunch, you will find the relaunch page, and if you watch the video, it'll tell you how to become involved in the competition, which will be drawn tonight via random name generator live on our Facebook page, and that will be automatically put onto the website also. So from us all at the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, we hope you have a fantastic Christmas. While you're off, able to get out doing what you want to do, don't drink too much, or shall we? All the best, everybody, from the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine.
The Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine acts as a hub for information, offering articles from archaeologists, detectorists and other specialists throughout the genre, featuring many links, event info and news articles associated to archaeology and metal detecting. We also offer professional review services and promotion for books, resources, videos, documentaries, gadgets, equipment and much, much more. The magazine is run by the archaeological and metal detecting community for the archaeological and metal detecting community. So come visit us at archmdmag.com, that's archmdmag.com, and check out information from our media section with all the latest content, news from the Archaeology channel, podcasts and the YouTube channels that feature the now legendary Digger Dawn, the Man with the Hat and Archeo Duck, just to name a few. If you would like to offer an article, link or inquire about other services, then pay us a visit at archmdmag.com and drop us a line.